Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. And real quick, I want to talk about the first film in this Warner Brothers 2 film collection on Blu-ray that I have. It's a film that was requested that I check this one out. And you know what? I did just that. And I am very happy that I did because I've heard, over the years, I've heard so many people talk about this film, about just how fantastic it is. So I finally had a chance to see for myself what it's all about. And that is the Shawshank Redemption. And of course, Green Mile is second film in the set, which I'm not going to talk about right now because that will be coming in a future video. But Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and you know what, again, this is an older film, so I think I'm going to have to probably dive into some spoilers somewhat with this film. I'm going to try to stay away as best that I can, but with this one, it's a little tricky because I do want to talk about it. So first off, like I said, great cast, not just Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. They're stellar. But everybody else in this film does a remarkable job. Now, this film, it starts out, and this is where it's going to be a little tricky. If you haven't seen the film, stop the video, go check out the film, and come on back, and then you can watch the rest of the video. But this is a long film. It is a very long film. So just be prepared, but you're not going, it's not slow at all. This film it's well-paced. So even though it's a longer film, it is well-paced in every single step that it takes throughout the film. Now, Tim Robbins, he's a former banker. He's accused of murdering his wife and her lover. Now, I would say for probably the good first three quarters of this film, you really don't know. Because the way this film starts off is, I mean, Tim Robbins, he has a gun in his car, in his glove compartment. It's kind of like, you know, did he murder them or not? And it kind of leaves it up to what you think, you know, throughout how this film is played out. And throughout this film, it takes place over years. I mean, years and years and years. And the friendship between Tim Robbins, who seemingly has accepted his fate of being in Shawshank prison, along with his, you know, the budding friendship that he has with Morgan Freeman's character, who basically, Morgan Freeman's character he's the guy who can get you what you want. If there's something you need, he can get it for you. And, you know, their friendship just grows throughout the years. You know, they become like best friends, basically. So it's kind of like, has Tim Robbins really accepted this fate? You know, he's kind of like trying to rebuild the prison library, and he's, you know, sending out letters, you know, trying to get book donations to rebuild the library. He's helping out the prison guards with like their taxes and everything. So it's kind of like this guy has accepted that this is where he's going to spend the rest of his life. You know, the guys are there for decades in the prison. Like they're going young and they're old and they pass away. And it seems like that's his fate. Or is it? Or is it? There are things that are planted throughout the film. And again, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, but we're gonna have to get into some spoilers because there's just really no way around it with this film. But throughout the film, if you pay close attention to certain things that happen in the film, there are indications of where it's going to lead, where the ending is going to go in this one. And it definitely kind of threw me for a loop because I didn't catch. I'm watching the film and I'm really into it, but I didn't see all the little clues here and there throughout the film. When I go back and I think about it, I see the clues and I get exactly what they were trying to do. But I really enjoyed it because you have the warden who's in charge of prison. And you have like the main prison guard, and both these guys are complete asses, complete and total asses. They are not good people at all. There are glimpses throughout the film where you kind of see maybe, you know, they show like maybe a little bit of hint of being like a kind person, but never enough to redeem them basically for how scummy they are, especially towards the end of the film. So you kind of, you know, there are times where you kind of like, you know, I want these people to pay in the end. So I won't spoil everything in that sense, but there are times where you're going to definitely feel that, like you want them to pay. I mean, yes, they are in charge of these prisoners, but the lengths of how they treat them and what they allow to happen in certain points of the film are kind of questionable. But like I said, the acting is stellar, and you will recognize some other actors in the film as well. But I enjoyed this one. I really absolutely did. Like I said, it's not sluggish at all. It's well paced, and I think even with a longer film, as long as things are paced at a very good speed, I think that works. It's telling a story, and it has to be as long as it is because it's telling a story not just through like a year or two. This is a year, like I'm talking years, that this continues to happen throughout this, throughout the film, the duration of this thing. And I really enjoyed it. You see, I love the friendship. The chemistry between Robbins and Freeman is just fantastic. I really love the chemistry between them because it helps the story grow, and it helps the story get from point A to point B, and everything that's in between, with other characters that are introduced. I loved it. I absolutely thought it was fantastic. And like I said, without spoiling the ending, again, I'm not going to spoil the final act for this film, but just pay attention. If you haven't seen it and you're still watching the video at this point, just pay attention to all the little clues, because there is a point Tim Robbins will hit. Let's just say this point. He will hit his breaking point at some time within the duration of this film, and all the little clues that are planted throughout the film, from the beginning to the end, everything it's going to pay off in a big way. It was absolutely fantastic. A stellar ending that I didn't see coming, because I noticed some things throughout the film, but I didn't, it's one thing to notice different things, but putting them together piece after piece after piece and finally seeing where they're going, hey, that's why The Shawshank Redemption is an absolute classic. So and again, you can get this available on 4K, and I've heard the 4K looks fantastic. So if you're looking to get the 4K, go ahead and do that one. I think it's on sale for like $10 right now, which is a fantastic price, an absolute steal for this film. But yeah, definitely one that is worth checking out. And I will be back very soon to talk about The Green Mile, because again, another one that, spoiler, blew my mind. Fantastic film. But for Shawshank Redemption, I'm going to give The Shawshank Redemption probably a good 8 out of 10. I think it's a solid film that is worthy. Thinking about this film over the last few days before making this video, I really feel like it's a good solid 8 out of 10. I really do. So, and again, and then even if you look at this film and you want to give it maybe like a 7 out of 10, I think the acting alone gives this a point. It definitely gives us a point up, because the acting's phenomenal by everybody, whether you're the hero, the villain, or somewhere in between. Yeah, the acting's phenomenal for everybody around, and all the way around in this film. So, like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I will catch you in another episode. Take care.